All right. Some things I love about being back in the UK. Mac and Blair Family Adventures. That's where I'm getting this one. Please go over and show them some love. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Let's get into this video because I want to hear what Mac loves about being back in the UK. His 7 things. Here goes.
Hi, I hope you had a wonderful day. Mac here. And listen, if you don't know anything about me, my family and I, we live here in the UK. We've been here for right at 5 years, but we just came back from a 30-day tour of the United States, especially across the American South. And I
Okay.
have 7 things that I'm really glad to be coming back to here that I'm really liking about this environment that I want to talk about. And the first one, of course, is environmental. It's outside. It's right now. It's the
It's
weather.
cool.
It is so much cooler here
Oh,
in the
yeah.
summer than it is in the United States. And I
Oh,
know if you're British and you haven't been to the US in the summer, you may not believe me, but we were there during a heat wave in Washington, D.C. The average temperature during several days got up to around 30 and maybe over 30 degrees Celsius.
that's
I
a
mean, it
hundred and
was
something.
hot.
Yep.
It was so smoldering, burning, melting hot. It changed our entire plans what we planned to do on the trip because it was just so hot. I've been living over here in these cooler temperatures and I wasn't used to it. When we went down to South Carolina, we went out to the beach, hot. Even on the water, it was hot. In Arkansas,
Yep.
hot and dry. Texas, hot, hot and dry. And it was just a hot, hot time there. And it's been warm here, but in general, it's just much cooler. Across the continental US in the summertime, the temperatures average between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius. We're going to stay in Celsius. But here in the UK, the average across the UK is about 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. In
Mm.
general, it's
This,
cooler.
yeah,
I find it to be cooler. And coming back from heat
nicer.
waves in the United States in the middle of summer in August is cooler. Even coming back here and knowing that this is in August, a hotter time of the year, I still find it to be much cooler than the time that I had back in the US. Now, what is unusual is I'm looking up and there is
That
not a
apples.
cloud in the sky. It is
Beautiful.
absolutely magnificent. Listen, I'm gonna give you a little tip here. If you don't know this, the UK in the summer
It's
is
amazing.
beautiful.
I believe
I want
you.
to say it's lush and it's green, but it's been dry, so it's not that lush right now. But it is beautiful. The days are endless. The because of the higher latitude,
The
the
night
days
don't
are
come.
longer, and you get these long evenings. You can go out for walks. I'm just telling you, it is so much better to be here in the summertime. It is absolutely beautiful. So that's one of the things that I've enjoyed coming back to the UK. I've enjoyed the more milder climates and the better weather. We're going to have to finish this video.
So I see where he coming from because when I leave here from Alaska and go to New York in the summertime, I'm like losing it. It's so hot. And when I say hot, like you said, about 30, it's anywhere between 29 to about 30, 35 degrees Celsius. So you guys can, that's because I'm putting it in Celsius. And I'm like, oh, baby. And then you realize how much you love where you're coming from, or you appreciate the cooler temperature from where you are. So I can relate to when he said, look, we were a hot mess. It was miserably hot. We had to change our plans because it wasn't working out. It was the heat. So I get where he's coming from. He's like, look, I miss the cooler temperature. And it is so beautiful in the background. I think there was an apple behind him, but I'm like, oh, baby. Yeah, it is definitely. So, yeah, it's an appreciation. Sometimes you say, oh, I wish I could. But then you realize, oh, I was better off being where I'm at than coming here for vacation.
Video on the move. I had to go pick up some things before dinner, but it'll tie into this video as we move around.
Okay. I can only imagine how he felt. And he's like, I can't wait to go back to the UK because this saying it. This is just too much. The
So
heat is
one of
on.
the things that also caught my attention, if you watch my videos from my travels in the US, well, we're not going to get pulled over by the cops over here. I did a whole video on that, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. I covered it in 2 other videos. Go check those out on the channel, but I did want to highlight it.
It's so nice, man. All this open field. It's beautiful. Oh, don't feed the ducks.
In general, I find the UK to be a much less stressful environment. I talked about it just a moment ago as I was driving down, but I really enjoy being here, especially in the part of the country I live in. I don't live in an urban area. There's some towns and
Okay.
cities nearby, but there are a lot of great parks, and I can get out into nature really easily. Some wonderful forests around me as well, and there are a couple places that are urban but still very, covered in nature, so to speak. This is one of these spots where you can get out here and see a bit of wildlife, and I really enjoy coming down here for a quick walk, even if I only have a few minutes. But I enjoy the safety of the United Kingdom and definitely the reduced stress.
I can only imagine.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone swim in these canals before. I didn't even know that that was a thing you could do. I guess if you're
Oh,
comfortable swimming with the
with the ducks?
ducks and fish, why not?
Yeah, I've never heard anybody talking about their swimming in the canals. Can you though? Can you swim in the canals, guys? That's a genuine question there.
Now I'm tying safety and stress together because to me they go hand in hand. When you feel safe, you're less stressed, and when you're not safe, you feel more stressed. That's pretty common. If I lived in London and I walked down the street with my cell phone out, it would not be surprising if I go home without a cell phone.
Oh,
We know London has a problem with that, people snatching phones and things. So I'm not trying to say that this country is completely without any form of stress. That is not at all the problem.
okay.
And I'm not saying that it's not completely 100% safe. No place is safe. You would
No.
have to be in a box by yourself to be completely safe. And even then, is
True.
that safe? So you definitely have to still be aware. But for me, I find this environment to be much more pleasant and much less stressful, and therefore I also find it to be much more
Relax.
safe. I may go
Yeah.
home without a cell phone for walking around in the streets with London if I have my phone out, but if I go home, I'm less likely to run the risk of just being caught up in some random shootout or something along that line. Just look at the news back in the U.S. and you'll get an understanding of what I'm talking about. Now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at one of the UK's most aggressive and notoriously dangerous animals, and that is the swan. And that is such a wonderful statement to be able to make because the UK in general doesn't have a lot of dangerous animals. Before I took my kids back to the United States, we had to have multiple conversations about everything that could potentially hurt them in the natural environment. I had to
Yeah.
tell them to watch out for fire ants. I had to tell them to watch out for wasps, which there are wasps here, but they're much more aggressive, I find, in the US. Fire ants, wasps, of course, bees are consistent, right? But also rattlesnakes, water
Yeah.
moccasins, cottonmouths. I think
Crocs.
cottonmouth is a type of
Okay.
rattlesnake. Alligators, we had to be concerned about. I
Alligators.
had to make sure my kids didn't get close to any water. We had to watch out for
For moose bear.
bears because we were in bear territory as well while we were there. Like the US can be really dangerous when it comes to
Wildlife.
just wildlife. And of course, while we were swimming, there were multiple shark attacks on the beach. I think there were three the same week, the same couple,
Crazy.
within a week time span of when we were there. I'm not sure how common shark attacks are here in the UK. I'll have to look into that.
Hmm.
But shark attacks were the least of my concern. I was much more concerned about the kids stepping into a fire ant nest and just getting caught
Hmm.
up in fire ants. And those things can be absolutely miserable if you get them all over you. They'll be on you before you know it. And they're much more aggressive, I find, than the ants here in the UK.
Okay. Which makes sense.
I
That's
also had to warn my kids about porcupines and
oh.
armadillos and raccoons. Never touch a baby raccoon. That is so dangerous for you. For you. And if you see an armadillo,
Babies.
don't touch it because they carry, well, sometimes they carry leprosy. So there are some really nasty things potentially running around in the US, and they're cute and cuddly from a distance. But there's a lot more of that there than it is here. Sometimes I come to this park just to sit down for a few minutes and relax. Even if I only have 5 to 10 minutes to just watch the swans, I find that to be very pleasant and relaxing. I have enjoyed getting back to British grocery stores and shopping centers for a couple reasons.
Oh, and there's Blair. Well, the thing I love about what he said is like, yeah, there's not 100% safety anywhere you go. There's no place on earth where it's 100% safe. But if you can go somewhere where you don't have to be stressed out about looking over your shoulders, like you got to keep on, what's gonna happen next? Will I not make it back home? Will I get a bullet? Will I get a? You understand me? You shop. It doesn't matter where you are. You go into the shopping mall. You go into the your school. You go into the house. Anywhere it's likely taking a taxi, going on the trains. It doesn't matter what errand you decide to run. You have to be second guessing yourself. Will I make it back home here in the US? Depending on where you're living. And that right there is sad. So that definitely can heighten one's stress. So if you're living somewhere where the stress of life is going down, then you'll have feel more secure and more relaxed where you are. So I understand what he meant by look, there's so many things to look out for. Wildlife is another thing. Um, it's crazy, you know. And yep, you said driving, and you know he doesn't have to be peering out his eyes looking for cops. That's a plus right there. It's awesome to be in a place where you don't have to be stressing about every little thing. I had no clue though that London was that way. Like when he said, "Oh, if you have your cell phone out, you can potentially get robbed of your cell phone." I'm like, "Oh, okay," but that's still way better going home without a cell phone than not going 6 feet under. So potato potato, some people would say, but I take that any day. You understand me? So I see where he's coming from. You know, taking the kids here, you have to be warning them about so many things. If I were in those kid position, I would just want to go back right away because there's no fun. You know what I mean? You're trying to have fun, but you're looking left, you're looking right over your shoulder. So yeah. Oh, fresh baked goods. It's not like what we have here in the
That's not to
US.
say that the United States doesn't have some pretty good grocery stores. There's Wegmans and Whole Foods, Trader Joe's even. There's a couple of really great places there. But what I find in general is that the food here has a fresher taste, especially when you're talking about the pastries and when you get to the fruits and vegetables. The ingredients here just seem to be fresher and they seem to spoil quite quickly if you don't eat them really fast. They don't stay shelf stable for extremely long times.
And that's what the US is known for. Everything is shelf stable for a long period of time. Fruits is fruits in. See?
I really enjoy the fruit here, and especially the pineapples. The pineapples are so
Ooh,
small.
they
In the
small.
U.S., the pineapples are what 2 to 3 times larger than this, and I just love
Yep.
these little pineapples. But they don't go very far as feeding the kids. I have to get several of them to feed all the kids. I love the raspberries. My twins love the raspberries much more than I do, and I really like them. But the thing is, these raspberries were picked for flavor. They're tasty, they're delicious, they're juicy. They're
Mm.
not picked necessarily to be shelf stable. In the United States, they focus around shelf stable things you sit on the shelf for a long time, to include fresh fruits and vegetables. But here, these only last a couple of days, but they taste delicious.
I get where he's coming from with that when it come on to shelf stable. Because listen, they put so many things on these fruits. Sometimes even when you look at these apples, they're like a looking glass. They're like a mirror. You can see yourself coming off of it. Because they shine them up. The tomatoes, the same thing. I'm like, you have to wash these fruits here in the US like crazy. The bananas, they stay on your counter for weeks and nothing goes wrong with them. The strawberries is the same thing, and you can tell that they are not fresh. First, especially here in Alaska, they have to ship it from the lower 48, a lot of our fruits and veggies. So, it's on the containers for a while, then it gets here, then it gets out of there, whatever container they are, then it goes on the shelf. Not to mention bread. Not, yeah, yeah. The UK is known for
One of
its
the things that the
food.
UK does so much better than the US is cheese. While I was in
I
the US, I had a lot of different cheeses, and they were bland to
plastic.
the extreme. They were bland. Now I understand that there's some pretty good cheese to be found in the United States. I'm not saying that there isn't, but all the cheese that you come across in normal, just day to day life is disgusting. But this
Yes.
Stilton Blue, some of this other cheese here, absolutely magnificent. So I've really got to get back to the UK to get to the fresh foods and get to the fresh cheese as well. Fresh is a relative term,
Ooh,
considering that cheese is a product of fermentation. So
yeah.
fresh, not necessarily fresh, but
But
you
look at the
understand what I'm
price.
saying.
Your prices are amazing. Ooh, Costa. What's that? Driving. Is this a? Oh, it's like a Starbucks kind of setting. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
I've missed Costa. There's some great coffee shops in the United States. I mean, Starbucks is good. Starbucks is here as well, so you can get that. That's comparable. But the Costa flavors, I couldn't get that in the U.S. So I was glad to get back to
Mm.
this one. Now, People say Costa's not strong enough. There's another coffee shop here that I really like. It's a chain. It's called Black Sheep. I really like Black Sheep as well. So Costa and Black Sheep, those are my two favorite coffee shops here in the UK. I find the flavor to be richer and fuller. I think that they aren't concerned as much about just adding a lot of sugar. A lot of the flavors that we got in the US, when we got coffee, it was just drenched in different syrups. It was way too sweet, way too much sugar. Here, the flavor of the coffee still sings through. You can taste the beans. It's not drenched out with a lot of artificial stuff. So I'm glad to get back to what I find to be a really great coffee flavor. Now, I know the UK is known for tea and not necessarily coffee. The coffee here is great. The tea is better. It's not even comparable to the type of tea that you get in the United States. Now, don't take that the wrong way. I mean that from the standpoint of the United States doesn't have any tea that can come close to comparing to the tea that's available here in the UK. I drink a lot of tea here as well. That's something I picked up while living here. You know, a nice Earl Grey to start my day off, that's the right way to start a day. But tea really isn't a thing besides Lipton's. But while we were in the United States, we did go to, in South Carolina, the Charleston Tea Garden, and they make tea there, and their tea was pretty good. I was surprised. There was fresh tea. It was made right there in the United States. It was really great tea. I think it's the only place in the U.S. that produces tea. So the coffee and the tea, though, that's something I really miss and really glad to get back to here.
Yeah, you guys are known for tea. There's no going around that. I've gotten the opportunity to have taste a cuppa. Someone sent me some tea bags, and I'm like, oh God! Not to mention the little chocolates, hot chocolate packets. Whew, yeah, he's right. The food, everything, it's fresher. It's not sitting on the shelf for a longer time. And you always, guys, always gloat about that. Your bread is bread, your cheese is cheese. Unlike here in the US, it's a total different thing. When it comes, I know nothing really about coffee, but I hear people complain. I hear a lot that coffee is not all that because it's so bitter, or it's filled with creamer and sugars, and it kind of defeats the purpose of, I don't know. But this just I hear from a few, so I can't really say when it come on to coffee. British accents is next. Oh yes, you
It's really
guys
cool
got
to be
it.
back to hear the British accents. But I will
Oh,
tell you,
I
I don't
love it.
hear the British accents, and I've said this before, as much as I used to. When we first moved over here, I could hear them every day, all day long, the difference in accents. But now I have to listen hard, and I think it's probably just
Hmm.
because the area that I live in, I've just gotten used to talking to people here, and I don't hear it anymore. I've gone tone deaf to the British accent. I don't think I have a British accent, but I've gone tone
No,
deaf
you
to the
don't.
sound of British accents, and I've gone very much alive to the sound of the American twang. I hear that American twang even on people who don't live in the South. I hear that American twang now. When I hear them talking, that's how they, it's like everyone started to sound like, I hear that now, and I didn't hear that before I moved over here. I definitely hear it now, though, and it's really funny.
Yep,
And you can't convince Americans that they sound like that. They don't know, but
that is so true.
but they do to me, anyways. But yeah, I do enjoy a bit of British accent. I love it. Sounds good
Ooh.
when I can hear it. It is. And so one of the
So you don't got it, but oh Lord, oh la la, the British accent, baby. I don't care if I can't understand it. It just, oh, child, so good. I love it.
last things I like to highlight about being back here in the UK that I'm really excited about is proximity.
Oh, everything is
And that
close
is
by.
the UK is nice. It's a country, it's compact, right? And I'm saying it as someone who lives in the US. And if you think about it, you could drive from one end of the United Kingdom to the other, and you go from Land's End all the way up to the north in right under 15 hours.
Oh,
And when we left Arkansas, we drove all day long. And at the end of about 15 hours, we made to the end of Tennessee. Like we'd only cross a
yep,
state, two
yep.
states. We crossed out of Arkansas and into Tennessee. We crossed to the other end of Tennessee. And maybe you could go into Virginia, right? So you can make it that far. The United States is outrageously large
It is.
as far as countries are concerned. But I love the fact that in an hour and a half, I could be in London. In an hour, I could be in Birmingham. In 5 hours, I could be in Edinburgh. In
Okay.
3 hours, I could be in Cardiff. And well, let's see. I could take the ferry over, be in Dublin. Probably about 8 hours, I could be in Dublin. This is all driving too. In about 9, 10 hours driving, I can be in Belfast. And so I love the fact that everything is compact. It's not so
Okay.
small as to feel claustrophobic, where you feel where you're too compressed and you don't have enough space to move around. But it's just small enough to where all the things that are really cool are within a day's drive. You can
Okay.
be there. And I really enjoy that. Even when we stayed in Perth and we went up to Loch Ness from Perth, we woke up one day, we left Perth, we went further north up to Inverness, and you could do that in a day. We drove back down to Perth that evening. I love the fact that you could just drive around. This is a
Mm,
very drivable country. If you enjoy driving, which I do enjoy driving, this is a very drivable country. You can really enjoy yourself getting
okay.
out onto open road here and just driving along these beautiful country roads
Ooh,
and enjoying the views here in England, Wales, Scotland. I have spent a bit of time in Northern Ireland, not as much as I like. I love to get back over to Belfast, but I enjoy the fact that everything is more compact and it is closer. And again, I could be in London in an hour and a half, in the second largest city, Birmingham, Manchester, probably about an hour and a half away, maybe 2 hours. In 2 hours, I could be and definitely within 2 hours, I could be in Birmingham, I could be in London, or I could be in Manchester, or even Liverpool. And it's all just right there. And each one of
yeah.
those cities are also very distinct and unique in style and in culture. In the United States, to get that same separation in style and culture, and you had to go much farther, right? The cities that close together would still be very similar. You can get a lot of different feels in the US. There's a lot of different vibes across the US,
That's
of
true.
course. But you could get that same thing, that same sentiment, that same feeling so much easier here, just kind of in the United Kingdom, just kind of compact. And I love the fact that it's really great for traveling around. So we're looking forward to doing a lot of travel here over the rest of the over the rest of the summer. Bugs over the rest of the summer and into the fall and even into the winter. So if you have some great places that you know of, drop that down in the comments and leave a comment for me. And the cool thing is, and I guess it's kind of cool, it's not cool. So I do the YouTube channel and we keep up with all of our travels, and it's all on the YouTube channel. You can go back and see everything we've done, all the wonderful places we've been over the last 4 years here. Because I don't think we were filming the first year we got here. We didn't really film that. But over the last 4 years, you can see it all on the channel. But my kids, the oldest kids, they don't remember some of those earlier trips. Like they don't
Mm,
necessarily remember when we went to Edinburgh and we went to Edinburgh Castle. They don't remember the Giant's Causeway. They don't remember the Cliffs of Moher that's over in Ireland and some other wonderful places that we've gone. So I get to do it again. Also, we had the twins here. We've had two more children since we lived here, and they are only 2 years old. Of course, they don't remember it.
yeah.
They were in separate pieces when they went around. So we could get to do a lot of those trips over again, and we get to go back to some wonderful places that I've seen before, and I want to enjoy those experiences. It's great for me to go back, but I get to take the kids back to Lindisfarne. We get to go back to Edinburgh. We get to go back to, really, they do remember going to Perth, but there are a lot of great places they don't remember, and some wonderful experiences that we'll get to repeat because they just don't remember it because they were young. That's the joy of youth, I guess, as you continue to grow and get older. Our kids were so young when they moved over here, but now they're getting a little older, and then the twins are coming along. So we're going to be out on the road. We're going to be traveling. If you know some great places that we may not have gone or you think would even be great for us to go back to. Someone asked me recently, hey, when are you coming back to Lincoln? I'm like, Lincoln, back on the list. We'll definitely be going back. Won't have the Christmas market to go to. We definitely love going to great Christmas markets. We're heading into that season pretty soon. So if you know of a great Christmas market in your area, drop that down in the comments and let me know about that as well. So we're looking forward to having a wonderful time and exploring the United Kingdom here. And I'm
Mm.
glad to be back. If you have any comments, drop that down below. And until next time, take care.
Bye. Oh, look at that. That is so nice. So peaceful. I love the music that he's playing. Ah, he and his wife. Ah, look. Ah, 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 ah. I love it. Great video. I see where he's coming from. Well, like he said, when everything is like compact, close proximity, that he can get from point A to point B within hours from one city to the next. And you can tell the differences between the cities. That to me is just amazing, guys, when you think about it. You know what I mean? Because like he said, here in the US, you're traveling from one city to the next, it's taking you hours on end, but got 24 hours to just drive through. You understand? Depending on the state and how much you drive and how fast you drive, it's taking you a while to get from one place to the next. So I get it. So, and then you get to have that open road to yourself there in the UK. all the countryside, all the castles. You don't have that in the US. So I can see why he misses those things, and he's glad to be back. Amazing video. The food, definitely. The accent, oh yes, the British accent, baby, ooh la la, take me away. And I don't think I'd ever be tone deaf when it come on to the your guys' accent. And not in a billion year, I can't find myself in a position where I hear it too much till I can't even hear it. No. In America, yes, there's accent. And you can't tell them that they don't have an accent. Like he said, it's funny. It is so funny. Sometimes when I hear them, I'm like, oh, where are you from? Down south? Oh, where are you from? You know what I mean? But I love accents overall. With that said, this is your girl, and I'm running out of here. Be good, be kind, be safe out there. Love you guys. Love you guys to the max. If you'd like me to check out anything there else, let me know in the comment section. I got you. I know, guys, I had to pause. See, I look different than how this video started out. It's the next day. Yep, all I did was put the same shirt back. I'm like, no, I can't do two different shirts today. That is so bougie. So let me at least put the same shirt on. But the hairstyle is different. I don't know why I'm telling you guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Love you guys, and I'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Oh, guys, just to let you know, I am starting a channel all about Germany, So as you know what this channel, we already focus on this channel. So I'll be starting a channel, and it's all about German to learn, just like how I'm learning, and I fell in love with the UK. So with that said, love you guys. Bye. I will let you guys know when that channel is up and running, and I'll put the link to that channel in the description when it's ready to go. Hope you guys support me over there as well. Bye.